Hey everyone, how's it going? Sorry I haven't uploaded for a while. I've had a few sagas going on. I had to get another car and all sorts of things and brake controller issues, and also been trying to desperately find someone to help me to perform surgery on my sternum. So that is another saga. But anyway, I'm back now and the car's all sorted and about to hit the road again and start doing some more fishing trips. And today's video, I've had a few people ask me about my sounder setup and my transducer setup, and I thought I'd just do a little bit of a quick video explaining, I guess, the rationale about what I've got and how I think it works. So let's go for it. I'll just jump on the boat here. Beautiful little cover this. It's very easy to get in and out of. Alright. Hoping you guys can still see me. I'm just going to turn on the power here. Okay, so the unit I've got here is a SIMRAD EVO 3 multifunctional unit. This particular model here is a 12-inch unit. Now, important thing to understand is these come in a 9, a 12 and a 16 inch, and they're actually all effectively exactly the same. So you're just getting a bigger screen with a bigger unit. Excuse me for a second. Okay, so just to give some context, last sort of 5 years of sounders, what have I had? 2 EVO 3s, Hummingbird, a couple of Lowrances, and a Garmin unit. Okay, so I've had a bunch of different units. The Furuno was a standalone sounder, the 585 FCV. So I've had a bunch of different units. Second one of these, and I won't go through too much about the actual usage of it here, but one thing I do really like on this unit is the user interface. Okay, it's incredibly easy to use. As you can see, I've got all these different configurations on the side here set up, and you can easily select between them. So, you know, navigation and radar, navigation and sounder. You can see here high chirp, that one is set at, and you can make as many custom configurations as you like. Now, obviously, this does all sorts of things like side scan. It will support radar. It will support autopilot, all of that sort of stuff. Now, just on the usage itself, a huge reason that I love this unit is it probably, to me, it has the best and simplest user interface of any of the units that I've owned. Okay, so it's just really easy to use, and while you can learn to use anything in a showroom, when you're out on the water and it's really rough, you actually really do need simplicity. Now, I've gone for the 12-inch because it is a big enough unit to display a number of things on there. So I will often have it running like this, where I will basically have the chart plotter on the left hand side, and I'll have 2 sounder units on the right hand side, and I'll run high chirp and low chirp at the same time. And I'll get onto that a bit more in a second, what that actually means. So the 12-inch screen is big enough to run 3 different images on the screen, I believe. If you're serious about upgrading your boat to have a radar and things like that, and you might want to consider the 16-inch, but the 16-inch to me gets really, really pricey. So, as you know, money is always a factor in anything that I purchase when it comes to boating and fishing or anything else in my life, for that matter. So look, it's a great, easy unit to use. It's a high quality unit. The screen, all the componentry is really high quality. Obviously, SIMRAD in general makes some really good gear, so their products are really good quality. I'd have to rate it as the best multifunction unit I've owned, okay, as far as simplicity, quality, and actual features and things like that. The best standalone sounder unit I've ever owned is definitely the Furuno, so that was a really, really good quality sounder unit. But as far as one unit to do it all, this is a really special unit. Now, when it comes to selecting your multi-function display unit, okay, there's a few reasons why I selected the unit, and I'm about to show you what they are. The main reason is right here, okay? And it's the transducer. So at the end of the day, you want to select a unit that's actually going to run the transducer that you need for your type of fishing. Now this here is a 1 kilowatt dual CHIRP transducer. It's a TM275LHW, so it's low, high, wide. So what that means is it does low chirp, high chirp, and it has a wider angle than your average transducer, so more coverage underneath the boat. The last 1 kilowatt transducer I had was a TM265LM, so low, medium. Now, I rate this as a better transducer because it's got low chirp and high chirp, and what that actually means is with your traditional transducers where you might have had like a 50 hertz and a 200 hertz frequency, excuse me for 1 second, being interrupted there. The chirp works a little bit different than the fixed sort of frequency. So what the chirp effectively means is there's the low chirp and the high chirp, there's actually a sweep of the frequencies. Now, a lot of people are skeptical of this technology, like a lot of boating and fishing guys are skeptical of technology in general, and I'm not going to explain chirp too much, but I can tell you hands down, in my opinion, that I believe chirp transducers work substantially better than just your traditional transducer. Okay? And it is for that reason, that is the main reason, that I've selected this unit. As I mentioned, it's got dual chirp, low and high. Most units on the market can't actually support a dual chirp transducer. They can only support a single chirp transducer, so low or high. And I like to run both, either one at a time or both at a time. So very few units like the SIMRAD can actually support a dual chirp transducer straight out of the box without adding all sorts of fancy and expensive add-on modules and things that have just got to clutter things up. So the Lowrance HDS Carbon can definitely do it, so that's another one, but not many of them can do it. Now, another thing is I like simplicity on my boats, okay? I don't want a boat with wires and gadgets everywhere. It was very critical to me that I just had one screen up on the dash and I had one transducer. That is all I want. I don't want two transducers on the back of the boat. And this transducer is a brilliant transducer. It works really good even in shallow water. Okay, I do a lot of shallow reef fishing and stuff like that, and it works well out in the deeper water on the edge of the shelf, looking for marlin and stuff like that, and marking bait. Now, the chirp itself, in a nutshell, what does it do? Okay, really simply, target separation. So I can hands down tell you that the target separation on a chirp unit is substantially better than a traditional unit. And what I'm basically talking about, if there's a bunch of fish below the boat on a traditional unit where it might look like a series of kind of blobs that are touching and joining each other, and you're looking at it and you're not sure what it is, if it's a bunch of fish, what sort of fish it is, what sort of fish they are. This unit really clearly draws the separated arches, and it just allows you as an angler to identify those fish a lot easier. Now, don't get me wrong, you need to be aware of where you are and what sort of fish you're expecting to see and catch below the boat. But if you know that with this unit, you might have seen in some of our videos how me and Brad will be driving along and we'll be saying, hey, there's a kingfish or there's a marlin, and literally seconds later we hook the fish and it is a kingfish and it is a marlin. No joke, you start to get used to the shapes and size of the arches and the look of the fish, and it's not as if there's a little sign on your sounder that says this is a kingfish, but it's kind of almost like that. Like, we seriously know what's below the boat, and we know what we're going to catch with this unit. And it's all because of improved target separation, which is achieved by those range of frequencies as part of the CHIRP technology. So look, it is a really good single transducer unit, and a lot of people, I think spend money on their boats and they kind of miss the point. They spend all this money on a boat, engine, etc., and they don't put a good sounder in, or they don't put a good transducer on. And I'm kind of the opposite. So all the people that reach out to me and ask, what sort of boat should I buy? Should I buy the biggest I can afford? And I actually say the opposite. I say, consider stepping down one notch, get a better engine you can trust, get a better sounder, get a better transducer, get a hard top if you can. You'll actually enjoy your time out on the water a lot more, and you will catch more fish. So yeah, I really do rate the SIMRAD EVO 3 units. I'm not saying it is the best of the best that money can buy. Obviously, there's a lot more options out there for cashed up commercial operators and things like that. And, you know, you can get 2-3 kilowatt transducers, even bigger. So it's not the most powerful transducer either. But for a trailer boat, this is an excellent transducer, and especially if you plan to just run one transducer. So yeah, and if you want to go jump onto Instagram, I do put on the occasional picture of bait and fish that we mark, and you'll see the photos on there. Really clear. This sounder has absolutely helped us catch more fish, and I think you know, as always, like I say, there's no sponsorship, there's no bullshit here, there's no fake reviews. If something is rubbish, I'll be the first person to tell you it's rubbish, and the SIMRAD EVO 3 and that transducer is not rubbish, and I highly recommend it. So anyway, just getting the boat ready for our annual trip off to Bermagui to try and catch a tuna, and hope you found that interesting. CHIRP is real, it's not a gimmick. But in my opinion, you definitely want to be going for a dual CHIRP unit. All right, see you guys next time.